Alright, so this project was shot for a coffee shop out in St. Petersburg, Florida, and they go by the name of Hodgebotch. This project featured Soraya. She also goes by the name of First Lady, and she's an incredible boxer, and she's 10 years old at that. So we also had Gordon Knowles playing the coach slash grandpa. So for this project, I really wanted to have a natural but elevated look. For the boxing ring setup, I had a 2x2 light mat with a softbox shooting through a 6x6 silk, and that was just being double diffused so you can have that nice soft wrap around the coach and Soraya. I also had a 300D Mark II with a Fresnel attachment shooting through those ropes coming from camera left, and it was shooting through those ropes and hitting Coach and Soraya more harder on the body. That was just to replicate a early morning sunlight that was coming through that open garage door. This location had a lot of natural light just flooding in. I also played with the garage door. I had it all the way up, all the way down, and we kind of just settled for the garage door halfway and really just supplementing that 300D with the Fresnel, shooting through those ropes and creating those nice shadows. So in that back door that you see, we had some natural light flooding in, but I supplemented a Godox VL150, and I just blasted that light through, and it was just raking across those heavy bags in the background. And that was really just adding some separation from the ring and the heavy bags, and that really gave the room some depth. So camera right tucked away in the corner, we had a aperture 120D, and that was just working as a kicker light. We also warmed that light up just to add a little bit of color separation to the back of their head and really pulling them out from the background. So for the camera setup, we had my Sony Fx6, and we paired that with the Tokina Cinema Vista 35mm T1.5. This lens has such a beautiful look and a nice bokeh, and it also flares like crazy. I really think the 35mm focal length on a full frame sensor is just a beautiful focal length. I didn't want anything too wide, as I didn't want anything too telephoto. 35mm on a full frame sensor would be that perfect middle ground. Especially I wanted to get up close and personal when Soraya was throwing those punches. I think shooting a project on one focal length really helps you shape the look of the project and give it a cohesive look. I shot most of the project in the T4, T3 area just because I was manual focusing by myself. I didn't have anyone pulling focus for me, so pulling focus by yourself with this lens is difficult, but it's possible, as you can see. This lens at T3, T2.8, it's still sharp, but it also has that nice fall off in the background that I really enjoy. So for the cabin scenes where you see Coach drinking his coffee in the morning, we really just lit that scene with two lights. We used the aperture 120D with a aperture lantern softbox attachment on the front of it. In conjunction, we used the VL150 with that Fresnel attachment, just raking across that table and a little bit on the floor and background, just to create those early morning sunrise looks. The location had beautiful shears and nice color to the shears, and it was also later in the day, so that it was some nice natural light coming in through the background. So we just opened up those shears and let that light up the background, and it really created some nice separation and depth to the shot. So for the scenes where you see Coach finish his coffee and walks up to Soraya and says, "Wake up and grind." And for those scenes, I put the VL150 out on the back patio, and we shot it through that back door, and that was creating those light rays. We also hazed the room, and that really emphasizes the light rays that was coming through. For that scene, we used one light just because of the architecture of that room and the color walls. I felt like the light was just really spreading in that room nicely, and it lit Soraya beautifully. So I decided to just use that one light, and it did it justice. So this project, I color graded it with the Phantom Luts. To be specific, it was the Utopia LUT. I think what Joel is doing at Phantom Luts is very thorough, and it's a very dope company. So yeah, check out those LUTs down below. If you use the code Moji, you get a percentage off. So I would appreciate you guys if you do go purchase some of those LUTs to use that link. But hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Carry on.